How you guys doing? So today I want to highlight, the top 3 questions that home buyers have about a 40-year mortgage. The first question is, what is a 40-year mortgage and how does it differ from a 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage? The second question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of a 40-year mortgage compared to other mortgage options? All right. The last question is, how do I know if a 40-year mortgage is right for me? All right, and how can I qualify for this type of loan? Let's get into it. All right, so traditionally, if we're talking about mortgage options, right, we gotta speak from the stance of the only 2 reasons you should be buying a home, regardless of what circumstances you have. All right. Anytime you're making an investment, right, the investment should solve a problem, and that takes the personal interest out of it, right? That puts more of a, okay, it's purposeful investment or it's a purposeful purchase, meaning that the 2 reasons you should only be buying a home is for cash flow or equity, all right? Cash flow or equity. It means if you have a problem with income, all right, making an investment that increases the cash flow, right, helps solve the problem of income. If you have a problem where you're renting right now, you just can't save. It's hard to save because it's tight, right? Purchasing a home has an automatic savings plan built in your payments already. So part of your payments going toward the principal, helping you to save. All right. So if that is the case, all right, then purchasing a home with a high appreciation rate, all right, you got to understand market indicators, will help solve that problem. So now going back to the 2 reasons. The only 2 reasons you should ever buy and own a home. All right. 2 reasons. The only 2 reasons. Now, if you're taking those into consideration, when we go back and we ask ourselves the question, what is a 40-year mortgage? How does it differ from a 15 or 30-year mortgage options? All right. So a 40-year mortgage is basically, it's the same mortgage as a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage, right? Which is amortized over 40 years. And what the difference is that because it's amortized over 40 years, you're going to pay a much higher interest at the end of the life of that 40-year loan period. All right. But the DTI, meaning your mortgage payments, will be less because it's spread out over 40 years. Right. And a 15-year mortgage, okay, contrary to the 40-year mortgage, has a much shorter loan period. Right. So because of the loan term is much shorter, meaning you're going to pay a lot less interest, but your mortgage payment is going to be much higher. And your 30-year mortgage falls right in the middle. Okay, so that means your mortgage payments will be lower than the 15-year mortgage, right? But higher than your 40-year mortgage. All right, and then the interest you're going to pay is going to be substantially more than a 15-year mortgage, but substantially less than a 40-year mortgage. All right, so that's how you put those into place. But comparing those 3 to the only 2 reasons you should be buying a home, right? So if you have a good cash flow, right, and you don't really have any issues with cash flow and DTI, right, and you want to save more money, then a 15-year mortgage will probably be your best investment option for mortgage vehicles to making your investment a 15-year mortgage. Why? Because you don't have a cash flow issue, meaning that you can afford a much higher DTI, or you can afford you have a much lower DTI based on your income and what you can buy and buying capacity, meaning you can absorb a higher mortgage payment, right? And pay less money over time, pay less interest over time, and allow your equity to build and grow, right? If you have an income issue, right? Meaning that it's too tight. Your debt to income is too tight, meaning your budget is tight. You can't afford much, right? In the place where you want to build your foundation, right? And raise your family, right? You're priced out. This is where a 40-year mortgage option comes in place. So it allows you to have a higher buying capacity with your current income, right? So therefore it lowers your debt to income ratio, meaning it lowers your payment for that mortgage option, spreads it out over 40 years. All right, now this helps solve the cash flow issue. So it's understand where your financial situations are. So therefore it varies from person to person if the 40-year mortgage vehicle is right for you. Answering the second question, what are the advantages and disadvantages to a 40-year mortgage and how does it compare to the other options? All right, so as we speak in terms of, the only two reasons you should be buying a home. The advantages to a 40-year mortgage, meaning that if your goal is to, accelerate your investment options, right? And you want to maybe acquire 2 properties this year. And knowing that if you chose a 15-year mortgage, you only can acquire 1 based on the mortgage payment. If you acquire a 30-year mortgage, you only be able to acquire 1, and you may have to lower your budget for the second one because the DTI might be too low, right? But we're going with the 40-year mortgage option. It could give you the buying capacity to purchase 2 investment properties, or to purchase 2 properties, to be able to move forward, right, with your investment portfolio, meaning that you can buy your primary home on a 40-year mortgage, and then you can go in and you may not be able to use a 40-year mortgage for investments, but at least give you more buying capacity on your investment vehicle. But so it's all about controlling your DTI, controlling your debt to income ratio. That's what's being reported to your credit report. All right, so this is the advantage. The disadvantage is that over time, right, those first years of you owning the home, the first 10 to 15 years you own the home, majority of their payments is going to be going to interest. A 40-year mortgage is not a vehicle for savings corrections, right? So it doesn't solve a problem for savings. It helps out with the cash flow, helps you be able to purchase more home, right? It could be detrimental if you use it and abuse it, but if you purchase them for the reason of solving one of those problems, right, cash flow or savings, then you'll know where this falls in line with your financial situation, and if the 40-year loan mortgage is right for you. Now, going back to statistics, statistically, home buyers are only holding on to their mortgages for 3 to 7 years, meaning that if you use a 40-year mortgage to acquire your home, 9 times out of 10, based on statistics, you'll be selling your home within the next 3 to 7 years, regardless. So 40 years of paying interest, through the roof, wouldn't even be a question for you if you sold your home within the statistic timeline. All right, so question number 3, how do I know if the 40-year loan mortgage is right for me? And how do I qualify for this type of loan? First of all, right, you want to look at those only 2 reasons that you should own a home. All right, either cash flow or equity. If you have a cash flow issue, meaning that you can't afford, to purchase a home in your desired area or in a place where you want to grow your family, right, whether it's a school zone or whatnot, then we can look at and to consider if the 40-year loan option is solving the problem that you have currently. All right, and when you go into a 40-year loan, you have to ask yourself as well, how long do I intend on living in this investment vehicle? All right, if you are, again, solving a problem, then more than likely that problem should be solved within the short term of being in that loan. And you can look at other options such as refinancing, right, and changing your investment vehicle to a more traditional 30-year loan, which over time would save you on interest payments. All right, and also keep in mind as well that even if you're in a 40-year loan, right, a 40-year mortgage, you can still set your payments up on auto pay to pay it off in 15 years, pay it off in 30 years, but your debt obligation on your credit report will still be extended, or amortized over the 40-year loan period, which again is in favor of you to be able to use your extra income, all right, on your credit, use your extra income, your extra DTI to be able to go and make future investments. So understanding what your investment ambitions are would determine if this loan is right for you or not, all right? To qualify, you definitely want to shop around and check with different mortgage lenders on rates and terms and see which one best fits you, right, based on rate and terms, all right? And also if that vehicle option aligns with your financial goals, all right? Look, I'm Emmitt Combs with Combs Premier Realty Group, 6 years, 6 figures. Make sure you follow me on all your social media platforms and subscribe and like our video if you want more of this real estate knowledge. And we talking about investment vehicles, all right? Only 2 reasons you should be owning a home, all right? That's either cash flow or equity. If it's not those 2, then come on, we got to sit down and talk, reconsider.